bags with dirt.
They kinda help me when I start pushing things. Get out there. I don't know, maybe I should be doing it. Hang out on my paddles. Get out there, get over my, just kinda, cause, you know, just kinda wavy and shit. Like, she was like, she got her seats. It's fine. So then coming in, I kinda worried, because you gotta get on that wave. Once you're on that wave, you gotta paddle, stay up. And then things start staking to one side, you gotta lean with it.
Not a good deal.
Out so far, what do you think? 1,600.
Half of that work.
That's a lot of water.
I don't know why, but it's so.
Yeah, there's get in. It's all messed up. They ended up flipping coming in.
Okay. I've got 9:15. We'll just start. Public comment, agenda item going. Coughing like that. Bottle of water back there. There you go.
That's what happens, smoking big cigars.
Yeah. That's what you're doing.
Little celebration cigars.
That, I think it's allergies more than anything. My eyes feel tired all the time and scratching. You get your glasses fixed? I've had, yeah, I did. You did? They did it at the shop for me last Monday. Couple of needles.
Put a couple of operators in it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe it could just threw them on the ground. I just stepped on them, we'll give them back. There you go. I need to get new ones, but I just keep blowing it off. I won't do it till these fall in half, and then I absolutely, like, what am I gonna do till I get new ones? And if I
A bit
will,
of a procrastinator, huh?
I get to go to the 13th and then mine check glasses. Wife goes in today. I can't even see out mine. I cleaned mine this morning, they helped me immensely. Cleaning these ain't gonna do any good, there's a scratch starting already.
Yeah, it's rough getting out there.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead, we didn't
Yeah.
see it.
But the video. I just want to talk to you about the FS zoning that's on the agenda. What's going on, or, I know the zoning board hasn't been able to meet yet. So are you guys, what have you decided to do?
We're going to, it'll be zoned agriculture with a commercial taxation.
Okay, I know that's what Powashik and Grundy County do.
Yeah.
And I know you guys got the
Yeah,
authority to
and
go ahead
that's
and do that.
What they're doing with, John Deere up there, it's the same.
Wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So-
Seems to be what most people are doing now.
I mean,
Sites like that.
Yeah.
from what I understood, I mean, the guy from, FS last week is the one that basically said, that's how they're treated in Powashik and
Yeah.
Grundy County.
Yeah.
So,
And there's a site, FS has a site down on 63,
yeah.
about 3 miles in Powashik County, down where Heishmansville.
Mhm.
And that's how
Mhm.
that's how that is taken. So,
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
So basically, you don't need the zoning board to meet. I mean,
No.
You guys are.
No, not
boys.
something like that.
I think that's all on my list. I mean, we talked earlier, depending upon this
Yeah.
issue, but until it's on the agenda, we can't officially talk about it. So
You're gonna take care of it, then you're gonna bring it, that's right.
I told Laura what to do.
I've sat here 12 years, so I'm not gonna tell her what to do. She's too nice a lady.
I gave her a strong recommendation.
There you go.
From being on the board that was set up, you know, these districts, knowing how much work these ladies did. And,
Yeah.
it's my recommendation as a board member said they're gonna do it, still send our recommendation to them. All they can do is just forget about it, so.
Mhm.
But, you know, the public's seen these maps, and the public has accepted them. We've had our hearings, we've had done everything, and now for the state to come back and say, no, we're doing it
Our way.
our way. So, but I just wanna publicly say,
Yeah.
I want the auditor's office to at least send our recommendation to them, so that's my public opinion, so, thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
so welcome.
We might get
My
her,
boots are at home, guys.
hey Richard, we might get her to shut that off for just a second for you.
Oh, no, I don't care.
Laura Wilson, Geyser. So, I know the question earlier was with Tavius making sure that that law hadn't changed enough, so have you guys confirmed that we can still do that zoning change? Keeping it ag, but zoning for commercial for taxes, I didn't know if that was actually confirmed, or if we are still looking to make sure that that's something the county can do.
Yes, we can do it.
Yeah, I believe,
That's
yeah.
what Davies told us last week.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can do that without the zoning for
Yes, we can do that without the zone.
Will you be having the zoning meet for anything else in the near future?
Not in the near future, no.
And not as a prep for the solar? That would, okay.
Janet Wilson, just a comment on not having the zoning committee meet. 2 of the people are new. Don't you think it'd be nice if they met, were introduced to the director, learned what their duties were? One of the people on said she didn't really know anything about zoning and she just tried to do her best. Why don't they meet and learn about their job and give them some resources, get them trained a little bit, so when you do need them, they'll be ready. I mean, having 2 brand new people, it just seems like you would want to get, I think it's called onboarding nowadays. Do you think that would be a good idea? Even if there's
My
not an
idea is
agenda item?
to get them to meet just so they can introduce themselves to each other.
Okay,
At a
well,
point,
that's what
yes,
that's what I'm saying. Okay,
yes.
then ask them to
But-
meet.
Yeah, and Tavius will be around then too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ask them.
We can get them.
Set a date. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, it
You'll
may
do-
not be till after harvest, because some of them are farming.
Okay, but if
So,
you set a
but
date
yes,
in November so they know and call it before you have an emergency, okay? Thank you.
You know when they still have corn out, but it doesn't happen at Thanksgiving and everything. That stuff's long gone before then.
yeah.
My boys used to strip, find any
Well,
field.
no, a lot of people told me it's farmers, they gotta get it out so they can get to Florida.
Yeah.
Those cold weather sets
Yeah,
in.
or,
That's just a
Or the-
rumor I had heard.
or the East Coast up there where, you
I
know,
don't know if you can find anybody to verify that.
well, I don't know. Yeah.
I hear those things do happen.
I don't,
It's been a long time done on here last.
I know I won't go much further south in Powashik County.
It's not on the agenda, I make a suggestion.
Now Richard may be going south.
Right up there. At least south down to Cloutier, maybe.
I go south every morning.
I just, all of a sudden, it wasn't. He was fixing just at the last second.
what do you think
Looked
that's?
just like he hit a.
I don't have a clue. Oh.
It just dawned on me.
Get a couple benches.
It shouldn't have been that hard to figure out, should have been.
Shouldn't have, but it's Monday. Come on.
You're right.
Heck, when I was a kid, my grandpa didn't start taking his corn out till opening day of pheasant season.
You really?
Yeah.
Hit the window on the other side or something.
With a 2-row or 4-row?
2 rows.
2-row pole picker.
Yep.
The door. Let him out.
I used,
Well, he had a mounted picker on his end.
my dad used to have one, that used to run, around and,
Yeah.
then we got big time, we got a shovel, that way we didn't have to go to the farm field.
Then we stand at each end of the field, and when you get there and the birds fly.
That's fine until you start hearing
In
that
the
talk.
car.
Well, we knew where it was coming through, so you know, you don't shoot that direction. If we would've, we wouldn't have been hunting it.
Big rooster.
When, does that zoning committee, they meet at night, or do they come?
They usually meet at night.
Usually it's night, yeah.
Okay. No specific day, just like us, we meet on Monday, they just, anytime, we set a date for them, and it doesn't matter the day, or,
I don't know.
I don't know if we set the date or if Tavius would.
we maybe can contact them and see if, everybody can meet, so maybe we should just talk to Davies.
I think the rule is that the chair should be able to set the date for zoning commission. The chair, at any point, they can call a meeting and they can pick the date. And then they reach out to the other members. It wouldn't be the chair here, it'd be the zoning chair. I don't know if that's, Doug is currently the
Interim.
interim one
Yeah.
until they have another meeting, and then they'll pick a new, either keep him or pick a new one.
Okay.
But they usually do it internal.
I have his number. I heard he was sick.
Mhm.
No,
He had prostate surgery.
okay, yeah.
But his recovery's going well,
Oh,
and
good.
said she didn't even do chores this morning because he did
He
them.
graduated around my sister, Stacy told me. Of course, and she, oh shoot, I was gonna have a blonde joke, I better shut up.
Good call.
My sister was blonde,
Be careful.
I know, I can't lose these two, I gotta have them on my side.
Unless you tell them what they have to do. They may not like me. Basically, I was just trying to cover their behind
Yeah.
by saying, I put pressure on them.
There you go.
Because the state wouldn't know who I am anyway. But they might find out.
I was gonna say, they might look you up.
That's okay.
Sometimes they like to do it on the bad side.
Mhm. Don't worry, I can handle it.
They just have a way of.
You know, the new overpass there, Doug?
Yeah, it's nice.
Tell me to go over it. I just think 30 years ago, you would have never dreamt, 10 years ago, you'd never dreamt you'd be driving in there, when you're driving over an intersection, you just never dreamt.
It'll be nice when it's all done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of years coming.
What, they got 7 miles of 4 lanes put in or something?
Something like that.
East, you mean?
Yeah.
Then you can drive
And they're just gonna
95
have to
miles
go
an
right
hour.
into repair.
Yeah. Well, they'll,
2023, you'd think they have some sort of, something that would work a little longer than 4 or 5 years.
well, they'll finish that south lane. Then I'll shove everybody over it, cause I'll have to redo that other one just so they can bring it up to the other. You know, we gotta have it identical.
Yeah, I don't know why they raised that up like they do. So many areas in that road, we had moved dirt where they.
Semis.
Huh?
Semis,
Semis?
don't have to pull down so much.
Or, buses with race cars on them.
Now just get the cops to stay off of it.
So I've got a quick question. Have you guys received any, like, questions or comments from any of your constituents? Because when we changed the comment policy, you said you were getting contacted all the time. and that if we change this, you would bring those comments to the board to discuss here. I was wondering if you'd been not contacted in the last 2 months, or if you're just not bringing stuff to the board.
I haven't.
I haven't heard anything.
Haven't, no.
Okay.
Can you remember what the last thing was?
Just about road issues.
Yeah. One of Dougie's old buddies called me. And I went and checked that out, it's just, I knew we did that. We were complaining about, we were pulling the shoulders in on the gravel, so.
Yeah.
And they're pulling on the dirt, it's just like.
You got it.
So I went and looked at it the other day and it was fine.
And are you guys making any progress on appointing the vacant seat on adjustment? Just because it's been vacant since June, and I didn't know if you had any timeline on
No,
that?
we haven't done any discussing on it.
Is there a timeline though?
No, not yet, or not
Not
right
by
now.
the end of the year or anything like that?
When was that vacancy?
June 30th was when she resigned, the end of
So
her.
by September 30th, it depends when the woman applied, that'd be 3 months. So you'd have to appoint a woman at that point if they applied.
Okay, I have 9:30, we'll call our regular meeting to order. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from last week, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ken is not here.
Not yet. Tammy's not here.
Tammy's not here. Well,
Motion approved claims.
I guess we'll ask for a motion to approve the claims.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Claims this week are $225,089.08.
Been moved and seconded for the claims, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
How you doing today?
He can call in there.
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks, Warren.
Nope, wasn't Ben.
You heard that too?
I heard the door.
I did too.
So, okay. Well, we don't have either one of them. Can I get a motion to approve the FS storage site to be zoned as agriculture and taxed as commercial?
I will make that motion.
Was Tavius gonna call in?
Oh, he hasn't called in
Yeah,
yet.
I think he was gonna call in.
Oh, I'll bet he,
Your phone is spun.
yeah, I'll bet he hasn't
Yeah,
figured that we'd have a little extra.
yeah, I think he was gonna call after he got finished.
Okay.
We just get to spend a little bit more extra time together.
Okay,
Quality
well,
time. QT.
we'll wait on that one. How about, lien, approve a lien on the property at Union Road Lake, and,
Okay, so, earlier this year, you guys had, a complaint about a nuisance property at Union Grove Lake, and according to the ordinance, it's up to the supervisors to hire somebody to clean it up and make it not a nuisance, so, yeah, William Fry, thank you, I couldn't think of his name. So he did it and turned in a bill of $335. So then in the ordinance, it states that that would be added on to their tax bill. And to do that, you guys need to take action to add it on there. So the treasurer has prepared a lien, on the property. It gives a description of 2170 C Avenue, Garwin, Iowa. Legal description, lots 11, 12, and 13, block 1, southwest and southeast quarter of section 33, township 85, range 16. The owner is Tony Badahosky, and the total amount is $335. So I just need you guys to take action on placing that lien on the property.
I'll bet somebody over there.
I bet. They'll probably get transferred.
Can we do that quick?
Yep.
Sure. I'll make a motion that we
Okay.
accept that.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the lien on property at Union Grove Lake. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
I think that's Tavius on the phone.
Okay,
3980.
quote that 3980. Hello? Hi, Tavius, just second here, I'll put you on the speaker. Okay? Do I hang this up or,
Just stop right there. Make sure you got him on there. No.
you there, Tavius?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. Okay, Tavius, we're on, I think.
Okay, let's do.
Morning, Davis.
Morning.
Okay, we're talking about the FS storage site.
Uh-huh.
Our intentions to approve that as, ag and with a, commercial taxation on that.
Okay.
That's all legal, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You guys have any questions of Tavius?
No,
Or
I
is there
think-
anything you need to, wanna tell us yet, Tavius?
No, sir, I just wanted to make sure the board and the community knew I wasn't trying to duck out on this one. I'm out of town watching my son coach his last football game as a high school coach, so I just wanted to make sure I got out of the meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Where are you at then?
He's coaching just outside of Muncie, Indiana, at Westville High School.
Oh, wow. You're not even in the state.
No,
So-
no, but, that's what you do for your kids, right?
Yes, it is. So, okay.
Thank you for calling, Tavius.
Okay, is there anything you guys need from me? Do you want me, I can stay on for the meeting, he's getting stuff together, we're not exactly together at this moment, it's up to you guys.
I don't believe we need anything else from you, Tavius. If we do, we
Yeah.
hear your number, we'll call you, but I think,
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
we're good.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you
Tavius.
much.
Have a
Good
good
luck
time.
out there.
Thank you.
You bet, bye.
So I do believe it's also in the code, and the assessor is the other person involved in this process where those properties are automatically, well, they're classified, he taxes them based on how they're classified and how they're zoned. If you want him to come visit a bit about how that works, he said he would be willing to come in and visit, but that's basically what happens when a facility like this is created. It's just in their code that they use, how to classify them for taxation.
Have you heard how soon they're planning to break ground after they get your approval? I thought it was gonna be shortly
Are
after,
they
I just,
working already?
Yeah, they're already,
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing.
we approved
based on this,
based on.
Upcoming
redoing-
decision, okay.
Yes, so they could break ground.
Yeah, that's the way I understood. You
Yeah,
approved,
that was 2 weeks ago.
you approved the zoning, but the taxation was.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the way I understood, because they wanted, they were ready to
they
go.
were ready to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's fair.
Mhm.
Yeah, so. Okay,
So I'll make that motion, Bill.
okay,
I'll second.
okay, been moved and seconded to approve the FS storage site, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ben, you were late.
Yes, I was late.
You got it?
I was busy talking with, Pat and Tim, so,
No way.
no way.
Couldn't imagine that
No,
last
so,
so long.
no, so,
Oh.
we're talking equipment and a few other things, so. We're out retrieving some more shoulders on some paved roads, kind of we did some of the eastern half of the roads, so, B37 and D65 is kind of, I don't know, be moving kind of west, on retrieving some of those roads. We're planning to do some seeding, later this week with the new hydro seeder we got, some of the ditches we've dug throughout the county. On the Toledo Bridge, they're doing dirt work this week, and, on that, I guess, they have to pave approaches to that, and the people that are paving the approaches, they got other job, they got 500 cubic yards or something that they gotta finish up before they come over here, so, we're kind of on timing frame, it'd be, once they get in here and get kind of that, but they're kind of doing all the kind of the dirt work and stuff like that to get kind of cleaned up, so, our bridge crew is, starting on I Avenue, it's just north of 150th, planning on moving the old timber deck and then replacing replacing that timber deck and then also encasing the piles, to add some extra life. It was a 1980s bridge, so we're just trying to extend the life of that bridge. And then on the shop, they're working on punch list items. Got a hold of them last week and kind of let them know we kind of like to move in. They got definitely some things that they need to kind of finish up and work it with. I guess so. Yeah, we had I guess with the rain last week had a few leaks, but they got somewhat figured out with somewhat of what's going on with their exhaust pipes have spiral, and so it doesn't, it goes down the spiral and doesn't, so then you're gonna need to put new exhaust, so it's actually what do you wanna call it, the thing that goes over the
Sleeve?
the kind of sleeve or whatever that exhaust, so they need to fix that, and so I got a few things to get going on that.
How close are they to being completed with that? Cause I know, that Tammy said that they did not get an extension.
Talking with Tammy, they did not get an extension with the state, I believe, but or they did not get an extension with the federal, but with the state, we were able to extend. So we're still good till December.
Yeah.
On that.
With the FEMA money?
With the FEMA money there. So, that was, I guess, a relief on, because I probably, if that wasn't the case, we'd probably have to figure out something so we wouldn't lose that out on that money.
So they understand that that's gotta be done by them?
Yes. So right now, I haven't really told them that we got an extension, just because I'm wanting them to get their stuff together
I
and
would
get.
tell you
Just
So,
make them,
cause it seems like, last time we we extended to September, and then they're like, oh, okay, kind of
Don't
little bit of
tell.
thumbs and
Oh,
stuff.
hey, we can go to this other job.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell.
That's exactly right.
So,
So
anyway.
keep on.
So, yeah, that's my goal, wanna be moved in by my winter time, so don't wanna, I know, especially Pat wouldn't wanna be in that shop again in the winter time, so. And then, I guess, I have kind of, engineering service agreement, I guess with, Garter.
Yeah, I have a copy of it here.
Okay.
Then I've showed it to
Okay.
Dan and Kurt.
So, I realized, nope, I do have it. Too much paperwork here. Alright. These are kind of the bridge projects, that what purchasing the right of way for. Got just one south of Traer there on P, and then just north of Queef Tier on 220th, and then two just south of Lincoln on E and F. So that agreement would just be for the purchasing the right of way and then doing the plats with the licensed land surveyor. So if you guys would be willing to prove that, we could.
Now, these bridges, some get done next year probably?
Yes, they would be letting, so that they'd be able to be bid on, and the first two south of Traer would be February, and then the other two by Lincoln would be March.
And these are bridges gonna be
These are, box,
called,
yeah, all of these are box culverts.
Okay.
So, and they're currently timber box culverts, so we're going up and going from the 1920s to the 2000s, so.
Okay.
So.
you have a big magic marker of some sort, make sure you put S Avenue on for me.
Okay.
I've told you a couple times, but
Okay.
it's on 20, it's still 24, it's on the 24 list
Okay.
to do that.
Yeah.
That's the only one I ever have have gotten calls on and
Okay.
talked to about,
Okay.
reminded about, and it does, it's got those dang,
Yeah, well, it's in 10 tons, so.
yeah. Couple ship, or a couple containers would fix that baby.
So,
Okay,
so yeah, I guess,
so that, can I get a motion to approve the engineers, what do I wanna call it?
Services agreement.
Contract to, do the bridges and have the CGA, do their work.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to keep engineers, bridge projects, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, now I'll let them have signs. Did you get over to, on, E29 and look, drive entrance the other day?
we did, I know we're gonna be doing some pulling up the shoulders, doing that sort of thing, so I didn't know if that would maybe help.
Okay.
With that,
Yeah. Okay.
Did you talk to Andy Seal, got that bridge, what with that
I'm
bond on it?
gonna talk to him, I called him on Friday, and then, yeah, I called him on Friday, he didn't answer, and so he called just before I got going here, so I was like, I'll call him back, get back to the office, so.
You'd like to have that done before.
Yeah.
Before
So it's
ours.
tested,
Okay.
so, and then this is, the utility permit we've already approved, but this was in the DOT right away for, this is for Interstate Alliant Energy, but this is on Highway 18 that Highway 21, that they were wanting, approval for that, so. Or maybe, no, this is, sorry, maybe this is on me, sorry. Never mind.
Scratch that.
Scratch that. Gosh.
Okay.
And then,
Do you need more than one of?
no.
Okay.
And then I was gonna let you guys know, I got some bids for some motor graders, and got one from Cat and one from John Deere. Just got some early here, cause we knew that prices were gonna probably change, and we knew we were just trying to see what, for next year, we wanna go with, so, Martin gave us a quote about $389,000 for all-wheel drive, John Deere, and then, Cat, it was $391. $391, yeah, for Cat. And with John Deere's, they have a premium circle, it doesn't have bushings and, things you have to repair on that, so it's just, a little bit, nicer that way. So we're probably gonna go with the John Deere here. Obviously, I think,
You're good with the John Deere, not the Cat, cause Cat's got a better,
well, no, the John Deere has the premium circle,
Okay.
which doesn't have the bushings and all that sort
yeah,
of
I was
stuff.
gonna say, you might wanna check,
No, yeah, so,
It's the other way around.
but anyway, so the plan on, this would be for the next, fiscal year.
Yeah.
And they talked about, possibly in, if we wanted to have that early springtime or something, that they would be willing to work with us that way, so.
If you think about it, have Pat get some quotes on a skid loader, will you please?
Okay.
Like a Bobcat,
Yeah.
John Deere,
Yep.
whatever. Just so.
Yeah,
Instead of renting one, might as well own one.
I know, that's what I was,
What do
that
we
was
have?
one of the things I was thinking of for next year for equipment that we'd be looking into.
What do we have coming this year yet? We have two maintainers?
Yep, we have 2 maintainers. I was told that they would be in the springtime
Okay.
for cat, but then, I don't know, it sounds like we possibly might get them in before winter time, possibly,
Wow.
but, I don't know, I guess we'll.
Any trucks, or there's?
No trucks.
Just the maintainers?
Just the maintainers, and then we had a, shop truck.
Okay.
And that should be November-ish timeframe. We got the trucks in, but, they're working on the box, and T. So, that's it for me.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Well,
You got a question?
okay, yep,
The maintainer,
yes,
why John Deere? When you got parts for cats on shelf? Cause now you're bringing in another that doesn't last, we've proven that with the Deeres.
okay,
They're not as reliable as the cat.
okay.
But you already got all the parts for the majority of the cats, builders.
Well, those parts, will they ever?
Well, as you keep upgrading through the years, you're gonna get more and more parts for it. But when we ran into the Deere, well, you gotta have filters, you gotta have this oil, you gotta have all of it.
And the cat wouldn't interface with John Deere
Nope.
for parts, right?
No.
No.
I think that's what.
My thought is we're going to try this out and see how it goes. I know that if it, I know that we've had, issues with, service and that sort of thing, and so I figured we'd see if they're gonna be true to their word, and if they're, not gonna be true to the word, but then obviously we'll have to go back to, that's why I don't wanna buy 3 or 4, right off the bat here. That's why I was just gonna
Have
go
we
with
had-
one.
Have we had Deeres? We've had Deeres.
We have
Craig had
ones
one.
that are
Craig.
2,000,
And then Montour,
we have 2 that are like,
and the hours didn't last near as long as the cat did. We had to pull the motors in both of them.
Did, what did we refurbish when Lyle?
Cats.
that was cats,
Cats.
those 2 cats.
The one
That
out of the
ages.
office, and
That didn't work well at all.
all you got was a good expensive paint job.
Yeah,
They didn't wanna change any of the hoses or anything inside.
yeah, that was not.
And they turned down the motors so they'd last longer.
Yeah.
So you gain nothing but $90,000 paint job, and he wasn't ever gonna do that again.
Yeah.
We learned.
Yeah, I think we definitely did learn on that one.
Yeah, Doug's one of our ex
Yep, I've not.
foremen,
So,
retired, I should say.
Well, that's nice to know, Doug.
But my theory is, don't go with the John Deere. Just for having parts on the shelf, running 2 different kinds of stuff. See if you can talk Cat down and say, hey, this is what we got bid, that. I think it's sensible to stay with one.
Well, I'll just go back to that same parts thing. I got about 6 John Deere tractors and everyone's got different oil filter, and
Yeah.
when you get new, they change the filter sizes. So I just wondered if is that almost standard with?
I'm sure they do the same, but it just, we got a shelf up there, just John Deere, well, same way with the mowers. Them are all John Deere's, and no filters, all work off the same stuff.
Okay, Ben, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay, we have, Elizabeth and must be Jathan with the home base Iowa program. Wanna give us a presentation?
Yeah, can I leave you guys with something? This is just it's last year's magazine that was done for the state of Iowa as an initiative for the IEDA, but it gives a really nice overview of the home base Iowa program. And so I thought I would just go ahead and provide a little bit of background on that. So can I, by show of hands, see how many of you have heard of home-based Iowa?
I've seen signs and stuff on
Perfect.
different counties and stuff, yeah.
Good, okay, all right, so home-based Iowa, it's an older program, dates back to about 2014. It was really a workforce solution for the state of Iowa. So the idea was there was an opportunity to attract and retain veterans and their families as part of growing our workforce. There's a lot of Iowa businesses that are looking for, top talent, right? And so we have an opportunity to really let veterans and their families know this is a great place to work, live, and play. So there's that workforce component, and inside that magazine there's a one-pager. I just want to let you know there's been a lot of changes with our program over the years. It used to kind of fall under IEDA and IWD, and today we're fully under Iowa Workforce Development. So what I want to bring your attention to is we now have what's called the Office of Veterans Workforce Services, and what that means is, our program has hired 5 HBI career planners, so individuals that work with veterans from anything related to employment, help with resume, kind of help match them. But in addition to that, we have about 15 veterans career planners that are located at every American Job Center here in Iowa that also work with veterans and their spouses. Really, those are a little bit more nuanced. They have to have like one of 13 barriers to employment. But so we're able to really leverage all the veterans programs now under Iowa Workforce Development. And to give you a statistic on that workforce piece, since we hired those 5 HBI career planners, on January 1st of 2022, we've now placed, the latest numbers are around 430 veterans and spouses we've helped find meaningful employment here in Iowa. That's just those that work with HBI career planners. So there's that workforce component. There's also a higher education piece. If you think about the GI Bill, higher education is often the first place that many veterans reintegrate. So we have about 29 institutions of higher education here in Iowa that are signed on with our program. So really what we're talking about is an opportunity to retain those individuals, after they receive their higher education. And the third piece of HBI, the reason I'm here talking to you is that community support piece. So right now we have about 128 home-based Iowa communities across the state of Iowa. That's the signs that you've seen. We have a big focus right now on onboarding the remaining 99 counties because that hasn't been done. But when you think about 128 counties or communities, we really want to have those 99 counties on board so that those cities that are part of it can add value to the county. And right now, Tama County is not designated HBI community. We have, thankfully, I think, is it Laura? Or you, yeah, helped find the resolution. There was actually a resolution that was passed October 1st, if I remember right, October of 2018.
Yeah.
So that part has already been done. There are about 5 requirements that have to happen in order to be designated HBI community. So the first one's already done, the resolution, boom. The other piece is that 10% of eligible businesses in a county need to be designated HBI. That's already been done. This county's already done it. Again, this is an older program, so we have a lot of businesses that are part of our network right now. There is an opportunity to work with like economic development in the county and maybe do like an educational workshop. We're providing a lot of free resources in terms of training, how to implement best practices to attract veterans. There's some low-hanging fruit for some of your businesses in the county of how they can better be in that pipeline for veterans, like DOD Skill Bridge as an example. So those 2 requirements have been done, right? Resolution, the 10% requirement. The third piece is an incentive package. So every community comes on, develops some incentive package. It's really up to the county on what you want to do. But I'll say that we've had a lot of lessons learned over the years. And I think early on there was a tendency for counties to come on board and really just kind of check the box, and once they got that, it was done. We've really focused on engagement because this program works when we see the communities engaged. And so we're seeing some of the most meaningful incentives since the inception of the program. So some communities are doing everything from like home purchasing grants. Right now the state of Iowa offers a $5,000 grant for a veteran to purchase a home. Some communities are coming on and offering an additional incentive there that might make it more attractive. We're seeing support with relocation as an example. We're seeing entrepreneurship growth. There's a lot of opportunities where veterans go into entrepreneurship. So we're asking for you to think about meaningful incentives. Generally, one of those would have like a financial component, but they don't all have to. It's really up to what you want to do. So that's the third and really important piece. Fourth piece is we identify where we want those signs, the ones that you've seen. Generally, they're on like the highways coming into the county. So it could be anywhere from 4 to 8, depending on how many highways you have coming into Tama. That's all done through the Iowa DOT in-house. They make the signs. There is a $76 cost for those. They do it all. We just basically put on a map where we want them, and then whoever's working at the local level, whoever our point person is, they're gonna kind of work with them to get those placed. And then the fifth piece is we just do a dedication ceremony. That can be combined with another event that's going on, if there's any veterans events going on, or it could just be a simple press conference. It's a way for us to celebrate Tama's, county's accomplishment, and really to kind of just get the word out there that, yeah, you guys are a designated county and part of that network. And, the incentive piece is huge because we are out there talking to veterans and their families on a national level. We want to be able to say, hey, Tama's a great place to live and work. So that's really all I have for you today. I can follow up with additional information. I can answer any questions, but we're well on our way. I will say that right now I think it's all but 4 or 5, I need to check, 4 or 5 counties have signed resolutions, and they're all kind of on their way to receiving that designation. We had a goal, leadership, from the governor's office on down, really wanted to see these counties come on board by the end of the year. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. I was a little bit delayed in getting here. I wanted to come, but we had Ray by going through it, so we kind of push it back a little bit, so, yeah. So are there any questions? I know I can talk a lot, so, and I love this program, so.
It sounds like a real good program.
Yeah, it is, sir.
What do you got to add?
No, it's a great program. It's a great program. The only issue my concern would be is the incentives. With our taxes as high as they are already, how much more can we as a community afford? But I think it's a great program. I know the other counties that do use it and do have it. It's nice. They can go right to the libraries and go into workforce development, hook up with their officer there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what it would cost a year?
It's really up to you. I can address that because I think it's definitely something that the majority of counties, like I said, we're seeing the most meaningful incentives today. Counties are understanding that if they do something with little teeth, it really gets people's attention. And so I can talk about those, I can provide examples of those. What we know is that for those counties that are tracking the return on investment, it's definitely been beneficial. Something as simple as like a $1,500 home purchasing grant. Clinton County, who came on board in 2017, and this is using probably last year's data, they had awarded over, from 2017 to current, they had awarded like $60,000 in benefits, which is a lot, right? But when you look at that, brought in about $109,000 increased tax revenue every year. It was a total of $5.5 million total home purchase value, right? There's a lot of benefits there. So a lot of counties are looking at that. The other thing, there are some, VA offices that will track, like if you're bringing somebody to the county, if that, instead of getting somebody to relocate here, there are generally, many veterans are, our hope is that we're getting them connected with Elizabeth's office to access state and federal benefits. And I'm sure she does a report for all of you talking about the benefits that come in through service-connected. Like Cedar County was an example. I think their first 3 veterans that came in their county, they brought in like $7,500 a month. Was it probably a month?
Yeah, per month.
In service-connected benefits. And the idea is that they're then spending that money in their county, so it's adding to the economic development. So that's certainly something I think that the Economic Development Office might add some value to, thinking about what makes sense for this county. But what I would say to further answer that is, it's not like you're gonna do this and it's just gonna open the floodgates, right? Veterans aren't just gonna like come in here. So if you start small, I would say, if you got, you know, 2 to 4 veterans, 3 to 4 veterans to relocate, you know, next year, that's a pretty big win, right? And it's a good problem if you were to allocate certain money, if you run out of benefits or something. I promise you, there's a lot of businesses that would probably love to add to that, right, to make it more attractive. I don't think that's a bad problem to have.
So, where are these veterans coming from? I mean, they're in point A, and they just see the incentive, so they're gonna say, hey, this is kinda cool, but, you know, I mean, or do they have a reason to be leaving somewhere?
Well, I think it really depends on the county, it really depends on a lot of things. Again, I think, Elizabeth might have some insights into who, I think certainly we're out there saying for all these, you know, 200 plus, you know, individuals that are transitioning out of the military, Iowa is a great place to work, live, and play, right? I think sometimes when a community comes on board and does an incentives, there are family members that have loved ones that are sort of saying, calling their grandchildren and saying, hey, Tama County is really committed to veterans. You ought to think, if you don't know where you're going, to come back home. Some people, they're making those decisions at that transition. So certainly the transition to service members is a big piece of it. I think there's a lot of individuals that come through higher education. I think you guys are pretty close to some pretty big opportunities with some of the colleges, you know, where you're located. So letting them know. And then also, so I think retention's a big piece of it. But I think sometimes, you know, it's a big ask, you know, to get somebody, you know, who's never been to Iowa to come to Iowa. So we see sometimes focusing on the kind of Midwest region, but we have many examples, you know, including our chief of staff for IWD, who came, you know, all the way from California to Iowa, and he stayed here. I mean, he came through the HBI program. And so there's examples of that. And I would also think, you know, spouses very often are at that decision-making process, right, in some of these transitions. So we always really remember the family members. But I probably didn't answer your question.
No,
but I think it's very nuanced, and I think it's kind of looking at where are the opportunities for this county. But right now, you're not part of that network, right? And like I said, we got